Good evening. How's everyone? Just a moment, I'm trying to get my technology together. Technology is always tough for me. So we are now in video 3 of how to start a motorcycle club. And you can get videos 1 and 2 on YouTube. Primarily, you'll find them on YouTube. At Black Dragon National President on YouTube. What's up, Brother Terry Campbell out there in California? Oh, wow. West Coast Regional President, Big Dale. It's good to see you, bro. Alcatraz, Black Sabbath, down in where are you now? He's all over the country. So you're down in Houston. Good to see you, bro. Chandra Gabrielle, Angela Sunshine, PRO. It's good to see you all. So we're in my garage that needs cleaning. Please forgive me, but I thought this would make a good place to shoot since it's late on a Sunday. It's good to see everyone. My name is Black Dragon, for those of you who do not know, National President of the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation, of which I've been a member for 27 years. And I'm also the publisher and author of the book Prospects Bible. You can get it at prospectsbible.com. And I've just learned how to put these things in that will pop up where you can click on them. I haven't done it yet, but it's probably going to either be over there or over there. You'll click up somewhere and you'll be able to press on it. And you can also get Prospects Bible for Women, prospectsbibleforwomen.com, and also the Public Relations Officer's Bible, mcprosbible.com, mcprosbible.com. And these books are called Bibles because they're like handbooks. They're not called Bibles because they're biblical in nature. And I thought someone asked me that, so I thought I'd make that clear. And the Public Relations Officer's Bible, the MCPRO's Bible, is really designed to help motorcycle clubs fight aggressive press that and media that try to make us look bad. So those are some of the things that I've written. I'm going to try to stop saying so much. You guys all know that I'm not cursing anymore, so that's really a tough one. So we're in video 3. I'll try not to say I'm working on my ahs, ums, and cursing. So we're in video 3. Diablo from one of the brothers out there, Diablo. I told him I was probably going to be doing a video in about an hour, so that was like maybe 3 hours ago. Sorry. Was working on trying to get my garage a little cleaner, and that was 2.5 hours, and we still have work to do. So CVI, Combat Veterans is his organization. Diablo, Combat Veterans, I don't know what the I is for. Combat Veterans Incorporated, maybe. But they're a motorcycle club organization of combat vets. And we thank you all for your service, especially those of us that were in. We love you, brothers. So we're going to talk about phase 3. I'm trying to work on my ums. We're going to talk about phase 3, Combat Veterans International. Got it. I guess that must mean they're all over the world, like the Black Sabbath would like to be. So we're trying to work on video 3 of how to start a motorcycle club. And in video 1, we talked about defining a motorcycle club, what a motorcycle club is. Are you traditional? Are you a riding club? Do you want to be a 99%er, a 1%er? What is it that it is you're trying to do and try to be and trying to start? So we talk about how to start a motorcycle club by defining, first of all, do you even want to be in a motorcycle club? So step 2 is video 2 was how to gather your members up. Where do they come from? How to get them together. how to begin to form this thing called the Brotherhood. My mechanic, Chris Roth, is watching. It's good to see you, Evil Chris. Love you guys over there at Mountain Motorsports out there in Buford. Incredible people. You guys got to go over there if you need work on your bikes. They got a place as big as Texas to work in on bikes there. Not as cozy as my garage, of course, but it's like 1,000,000 miles wide. And we got Big Cell watching. It's good to see you, brother. I love you. So we talked about how to start a club by, first of all, what one is. Then number 2, how to gather your troops. And in those 2 videos, I haven't even spoken not one time yet about the motorcycle set or being seen on the set or good night, Big Cell. I know you were traveling this weekend. I don't know if you're home yet or not, but please stay safe. Jay Gutter Jones, good to see you, bro. I sent your book to you. So now we're talking about, and we're not talking about the set. You know, we're so far away from being on the set as we're gathering up these brothers to create this brotherhood. We're not talking about being seen. We're not talking about running around, running your mouth. It should be clandestine. It should be secret. You're putting together something that's going to be great forever. And so it should take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. So as you've decided what you're going to be, okay, we're going to be an MC. Are you going to be traditional? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're going to be a traditional MC. So you know you're going to have to prospect your people and on and on and on. You see that in video 1 and video 2. So now video 3, we're talking about you've got these folks together, you're thinking about forming a motorcycle club, and this is the step everyone leaves out. By what rules are we going to follow? What's going to define us as an MC? What are we going to be about? What rules are we going to follow? And what's going to be our document that controls our behavior? And I meet motorcycle clubs that are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And these motorcycle clubs that are this old, it's kind of funny to me. They don't have bylaws whatsoever. People just are working, riding, and there's nothing that defines who they are and what they're going to be. If you're in a motorcycle club with no bylaws, then there are no rules. And anything can happen, and anything can happen to you. So let's talk about bylaws for a minute. And if your motorcycle club has no bylaws, this will be a good place for you to start to put your bylaws together. So, first of all, what are bylaws? Thank you. First of all, what are bylaws? Bylaws are like the Bible to Christians, like the Quran to Muslims, like the Torah to Jewish folks, like the Book of Mormon to Mormons, like the Blue Jackets manual to Navy folks. Bylaws are the agreement between the motorcycle club and the member. Bylaws are the agreement that if you do this, this will happen. They are a sacred document to be held in great esteem. They speak of the greatest things that the MC can be. They speak of the greatest things you will be if you follow the doctrine of the MC. Bylaws are like the plan of the day for military folks in the Navy. They spell out what you should be doing just about at all times. The bylaws are the contract between the member and the MC. This contract that says the MC is responsible to give you this, and you're responsible to give the MC that. and if the MC gives you this and you give the MC that, and the MC gives you that and you give the MC this, you should have an incredible, outstanding, and wonderful motorcycle club career. The bylaws keep us equal. They're like the Smith & Wesson out on the open range. You know, Indians or bad men or coyotes or wolves, any of those things could get you unless you had the great equalizer. The bylaws are like that because the bylaws allow you to have that great equalizer because no one should be above the bylaws. Not the national president, not the founder, not the prospect, or anyone in between. The bylaws make us equal. It's like pulling out that Colt 45 6-shooter. Hey buddy, we're all held to this one accord. So if you ain't got no bylaws, you ain't got no equality, Native Americans. Alcatraz corrected me. You saw me stutter when I said Indians. I wanted to pull it back, but you know it was out there. I apologize to any Native Americans like myself that I called Indians. So forgive me. So these bylaws are this great equalizer. And if your motorcycle club doesn't have them, you have chaos, especially when there are things that have to be corrected. My personal trainer, Mike Caesar, is watching. It's good to see you, Mike. I'm getting skinny, baby. Thank you. And so with this great equalizer, if we have this, we have the ability to be in an organization that has boundaries, rules, quality that everyone can follow. So I often talk about these guys, the booze fighters. I did a video called How a Brand New Club Should Be Operating Day to Day. And when I did the booze fighters, I've had this book for many, many years, and you guys should get this book. This book right here is amazing. It talks about how one percenters got started, or the whole nomenclature of one percenters, from the great booze fighters that have been around since like 1940 something. And this was their bylaws of the day, 1946. This was their bylaws. So bylaws can be something like this, just to get, when you're getting started. It can be, they had 13. And then these are the Black Sabbath bylaws from, oh my goodness, 1970 something, and this is how big they are. They're huge. So bylaws might not necessarily be, and then here's some from 1998, and ours are a darn book. And then here are some from 2011. You notice that the bylaws are changing a little bit. Bylaws change. I have a book coming out talking about how to write and update and put your bylaws together. And then we have bylaws here from 2012. Interesting, huh? So bylaws do change and they do update, and but they could start from something like this, just a page. And so even if your bylaws are just a page long, they talk about what it is that you should be doing. I'll briefly read the bylaws from the Booze Fighters from 1946. I went into these in depth in another video called How the New Motorcycle Club Should Run Day to Day. But one, to become a booze fighter, you must attend a certain amount of meetings. So they specify what you need to do to become one. Then they specify here the limit of the clubs, how many members the club will have. Here they talk about the initiation fees and what the dues are. So these bylaws talk about how to become a member, how many members the club can have, the initiation fees and and how much will be charged. It tells you some punishments. If a member misses 3 or more meetings, what can happen to them? Any member who is absent without a reasonable excuse, what can happen to them? If a member misses a meeting without a reasonable excuse, what can happen? Officers will be elected. How often officers will be elected? there will be a fine for not having your colors on properly. There'll be a fine of $1 if you don't have your sweater at the meeting. And we talked about the sweater. That must have been what they wore back then. And I was saying, I want to get me a sweater, some sweaters for our club. Officers will be elected. Any member leaving or voted out of the club will either remove the lettering from a sweater. One of the most important things that I think that these bylaws have, and one of the first concepts you should think about when writing your bylaws, is the idea that the colors belong to the MC. If you leave the MC, you leave the colors. And it's right here in member number or step number 9 in their bylaws, so that you know from the very beginning. There's an interesting thing. I was talking to a car club member. They look a whole lot like us with the vest and everything. And someone told me that they didn't have to turn their colors in. I paid for this vest. This is mine. I would never turn my colors in. This is my stuff. And it's kind of interesting that people believe that. But if you have something like that in your bylaws, step 1, then you might not have to shoot someone to get your colors back. Be nice, huh? They say that in this thing, what some of the rules are, and then in this one, they outline that there will never be any women in their club. And they also outline some things that might happen to you if you're drunk and passed out in their clubs. And another thing that's one of the most important things that they define in this club, these booze fighter guys, is they define that you must have a motorcycle to be in a motorcycle club. Novel concept, been around since 1946. Diablo says, love your brother, do not mess with anyone's old lady. Oh my goodness. That's not in this one, but this was 1946. Maybe they didn't have to say that back then. And obey your elected officers. That's just some really cool ones. So I want to talk about some other things that might be in your bylaws, so help you get them together. So we'll go to ours. So one of the things that you might have is something that says what your name is going to be. And you might not be at that stage yet. And you're just putting together this framework. You're starting a motorcycle club. So what do? We decided we wanted to be a motorcycle club. We decided we wanted it to be a traditional MC. So traditional MCs have bylaws. And traditional MCs, as I told you guys last week, traditional MCs also have a vote. So you have bylaws and you have a vote. And people prospect, and you must have a motorcycle, and you must have at least 5 members to get started. These are like the basics of a traditional MC. So if you want a traditional MC, these are the things that you need. So you might, in your bylaws, want to talk about the name, what you're going to call yourselves. That might be specified in the bylaws. Another thing you might think about, and we saw this in the Booze Fighters, and we also see this in the Black Sabbath, is what defines membership? What do you have to do to be a member? You have to have a motorcycle of at least 750 cc's. You gotta have a motorcycle license. You gotta make how many runs and how many meetings. That's all right here. How old you have to be, maybe. For traditional MCs that are 99% in nature, you may have a clause or something that says you might have a criminal background, but we're not going to take you if you're a child abuser or something like that. You might have something like that in there. Then there's something that might talk about what's required of prospects. It tells you what you got to do to be a hang around, and what you got to do to get in the club and how many meetings. Then once you're in the club, there may be something that talks about what you have to do as a prospect. Now, one thing that we saw in these guys' bylaws is that there will be no women in their MC. That was from 1946. I don't know what they're doing today. But if you're a mixed motorcycle club, or you're a motorcycle club that has properties or old ladies or your wives or something like that, or a social club attached or an auxiliary, then you may outline what those folks have to do, what those ladies have to do, and what their responsibilities are. You might talk about the initiation and what happens in the initiation. You might talk about inactive members. We saw that here in these guys in 1946. They did in 13 steps what we're now in several pages. But you might talk about inactive members, what happens to them, what you might need to do to maintain continuous good standing. What is good standing? Being current on your dues and good with your responsibilities and not on suspension or something like that. You might talk about club meetings, when they'll be, when they won't be. If you're one of those clubs that has mixed colors, multiple races, you might have an anti-discrimination clause or something like that. You can talk about what constitutes a meeting and what constitutes people being present in the meeting or not present, or special meetings. And you can talk about the order of meetings, like what's going to happen in the meeting order, like there'll be maybe a prayer, a roll call, financial reports, old business, new business, normal stuff that you see. But that could be outlined right here in your bylaws. And the rules of order and what happens when the sergeant at arms speaks and on and on. People need to be told how to operate in order for them to operate well. Then you can talk about your mission statement. Your MC may have a mission statement. And so if your MC has a mission statement, we see Jekyll on, thank you for coming. So if your MC has a mission statement, it could be sitting right here. We are going to ride hard at all times, period. Rain, sleet, or snow, it really doesn't matter. Baby, we're going to always ride. Could be right here. Or we trailer our bikes to everything, and that's what we do. We're bike trailerers. So somebody comes in your MC and they're pissed off because you're trailering the bikes. Hey, you knew what you were getting into when you joined us. You can have something in here that talks about the jurisdiction of well, you'd have to probably be a national club before you got into that. But there's some ideas about the clubhouse. What must go down in the clubhouse, and you might not have a clubhouse, but some motorcycle clubs are lucky enough to start with a clubhouse, so you can line out duty days and when a person has to stand duty and what they have to do to what happens if they don't stand duty. You can talk about how to change duty days. That, if that stuff is spelled out, then folks can't act brand new. Act brand new is I didn't know. General rules, violations, you can talk about, like one of my favorite ones is someone who makes a false statement against a club, what can happen to them, or what happens if you make a false statement against a member, or what happens if you steal a member's old lady, or what happens if you drop dime on a member, like, hey, your old man's cheating. People do the most rotten things in motorcycle clubs. There should be some rules. My neighbors can't hear me screaming. All right, so major charges could be in your bylaws. And then the oath, you could have your oath in here, or your oath of office, or what people have to swear to when they join. How elections are handled. The officer positions could be in here, and what each officer, what the responsibilities are. Like president has a responsibility, VP has a responsibility. How many people are in motorcycle clubs that have not had what we call like this outline of duties? Like you really don't know what your duties are. You're just moving along, doing the best you can because no one has told you what your duties are. Isn't that kind of, well, I don't want to say retarded, I want to say mentally challenged? Yeah, that's retarded. So you can have the responsibilities of each member of your MC that's an officer. You can have those duties outlined. So you can have a checklist. These are the duties of. Thank you, Alex Moore. I appreciate you. Let's see. Duties of the road captain, the duties of the treasurer, the duties of the business manager, the duties of all these folks. What are their duties? And when they're replaced and things like that. All right. You can also have, duties of the sergeant at arms, duties of the secretary. What else can you have? Like if you had a weapons officer, you could have duties of the weapons officer, but I mean, that's not a traditional motorcycle club. So, then you can have like well, that would be for a national club. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Then you can have, monthly dues, initiation fees. You know, I didn't even realize that it's been a while since I read my bylaws. I didn't even realize that we had that set up like that. Just like from the 1946 booze fighters. Dude, we're on this. So, monthly dues, initiation fees, initial fees, setup of colors, what each patch costs. You can have that. Then responsibilities of prospective members. Responsibilities of members. It's all right. It can all be right here. You see something here? What we have is some discipline. Rules of conduct right here. Spelled out for you. Patches, where they go on the vest. Like a traditional motorcycle club, nothing goes on your back because that belongs to us. All this can be your stuff except for, the officer stuff goes here for us. So your name and patches and stuff like that goes here. And then we own the back. And then you can do whatever you want with the rest, and the sides and all that stuff is yours. That back is ours. That says what we want it to say. Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club, or whomever you may be. But this spells that out. So if somebody's walking around with a patch, I love Ducatis back here. Like, dude, well, you're not even allowed to have a Ducati here in this one, and then over here it's not supposed to be on your back. So what else? You can have what happens when you miss meetings, and you can have failure to stand duty, striking a fellow Black Sabbath. In traditional MCs, you're not allowed to hit fellow members. You're not allowed to put your hands on anybody. If you put your hands on somebody, wow, that can cost you $500 or even worse. I mean, it's going to cost you some money in my club. Ask President Vidmich. Let me see. You can, depending on what you do, there may be some waivers or something like that you might have. You might have, if two members want to fight, maybe you specify that they have to put on gloves and they have to kiss each other after, something like that. Something to make it ugly for people to fight one another. People in motorcycle clubs love to loan each other money. And then after they loan each other money and they didn't tell you nothing about it, then they want to come to you for you to fix it. My brother won't give me my $10 I loaned him. So you can make it be such that you can put it right here in the bylaws. This is the procedures for loaning folks money. Something that makes it best if each member signs an agreement acknowledging that T. Outcast said, we're going to get to that. You can also have conditions as to how people will return. It's really funny. People come to you to get the colors, but when they quit and do these ugly things, you got to chase them down for your colors. So you can spell it out right here how the colors are to be returned. And that way you don't have to beat anybody up to get your colors back. You can establish when they get to wear, like the gold medallion. Or whatever you have, a ring or tattoo. Like many organizations won't let you get a tattoo for 5 or 10 years. Or they define what you have to do if you leave the club about that tattoo, so they don't have to burn it off of you like in Sons of Anarchy. Wasn't that a cool thing? All right. Also, how many people are wearing colors and you don't even know what the heck they stand for? Like, why is the man riding across the cross? Why is his outfit blue? Why are our motorcycle club colors blue and yellow and white and black? Why is the patch this big? What is the name of the patch? People don't know that stuff. It's ridiculous. They walk around Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath, and they couldn't even tell you what the hell the patch stood for, or even what the name of it is. There are so many motorcycle clubs whose patches have names, and they don't even know why they have those names. but that could be spelled out right here in the bylaws. So people can know what the patch is, why, where did it come from, who drew that stupid little cartoon that's our patch? I mean, are you serious? Where'd that come from? It came from somewhere, and it has a reason. And this is something that folks could know. Various insignia, what it means, and when can you wear the jean jacket? When can you wear the black colors? When can you wear the cut? All those things can be all outlined in your bylaws. Then, as T said from the T Outcast Wilkins, not sure, I said T from the Outcast, I should have said T Outcast Wilkins. So what T Outcast Wilkins said is someone should sign, there should be a little piece right here or somewhere in your bylaws where someone signs and says, I acknowledge that I understand the bylaws as written from page 1 to blah blah. I will abide by them. You can have a non-compete clause. Hey, what if your motorcycle club is involved in some kind of a business and you don't want people that get on the inside of this to compete against you for a period of time? You can put that all in your bylaws. So when you're starting your motorcycle club, we talk about 1, defining what you want to be. 2, second video, how to go out and start recruiting members, which we don't mean go ask people that are full patches of somebody else's motorcycle club to be in your motorcycle club. And the other thing you don't do is go spreading the word. We're starting a motorcycle club because you're most certainly going to get shut down. You want to get your act together, get yourself together, get your brotherhood together before you're ever on a set or anything else like that. You want to get to know the people that you're riding with. These original 5 or original 7 or the first 8, we see all these things. But if they're not a brotherhood, then you don't have an MC. And one of the biggest things that I want to tell you to put in this bylaws that you're putting together is the concept that we are the MC. It's not about I, it's about we. History on the club is a huge deal, says one. To me, a prospect or hang around knowing them, it never fails when I see a prospect. I see how much they know about our club before they will ever get my vote. The history of the MC is the most important thing. When you're starting your MC, there is no history. Or is there? There's a history behind why I started this, why we're putting this together, why we came together, why we don't want to go join another established MC that's already out there. There's some kind of history. And each and everybody needs to be on the litany of those talking points and the litany on why we're doing this and what it means. Once we get this document together and we start circling it around the first 5 or the first 8 or the original 7 or the original 13, once we start circulating this document around, it starts to feel like we have a motorcycle club here. Remember, this document, this bylaws thing here, this is the contract between the motorcycle club and the member, or in this case, the prospective members of the prospective motorcycle club. This is the contract that says your behavior should be like this, and the MC will give you that. Your behavior should be like that, and the MC will give you this. This is the great equalizer. This makes us all on the same playing field. This gives us all the right to know when there's going to be a vote, when there's going to be an election of offices, when there's going to be this, when there's going to be that. It's the most important document that you have. It's like the Constitution of the United States of America. We the people of... I used to know that. But that's what the bylaws are. And so when you're putting your motorcycle club together, you would be remiss to go to the council and get your soft colors and walk around and ride around and you're so cool on the motorcycle set, and then all of a sudden they say you can be a club now, and you don't have a guiding document, and now you get into a fight with the founder or the president, and guess what? This is going to be this way because I said it's going to be this way. But what do we have? And bylaws are a living document. They change. They grow, they shrink, they get better, they get worse. And so every couple of years or something like that, you may be working on them. But they are a wonderful thing because they set you on a path for your motorcycle club to achieve greatness. And that's what we want to be, right? Because those of us who are in traditional motorcycle clubs, we do this forever until we die or until we can't ride anymore because we love this lifestyle. I thank you all for watching. I thank you for taking the time out of your Sunday night. There's a lot of you on here, more than I expected. I love you all, and I hope that the message that I'm trying to get out is the message that God would have me say. Get skinny, people. Try to lose some weight. Almost 60 pounds now since April, and we're going to keep moving. Watch me on Fat Boy Getting Skinny. Go to my YouTube page, Black Dragon National President. Like my YouTube page, please. Please like my YouTube page. And that way it gets bigger and people get to see it. Please share my YouTube page. And please read my books. Prospects Bible, prospectsbible.com. Prospects Bible for Women's Motorcycle Club, prospectsbibleforwomen.com. And the Motorcycle Club PRO's Bible, mcprosbible.com. You can get them all on Amazon. And are there any other questions? Any questions? Love you too, Jeremy. I appreciate you, brother. All right, no questions. You can email me, blackdragon at blacksabbathmc.com. Blackdragon at blacksabbathmc.com. Tuesday night is the PRO's class. It's a free class. 877-387-8884. 877-387-8884. I love y'all. Think not of I, think of we. We the MC. Not I, not me, but we. Get skinny.